sustain like all the way to the racks, and it makes his sustainability kind of similar to Demented Shaman in fights like so long. They can fight for so long because they have so much mana, so much heal, and obviously the Protective Charm will protect you against any magical spells cast. That hero is just a powerhouse when it comes to team fighting and pushing early, and that's exactly what 90s did.
Yeah, that's what we saw there. We are in game 2 now, though, so let's go ahead and jump into the game. We have, again, the 90s on the Legion side, unZ on the Hellborn side here. The blind band's taking place, and interesting blind band, actually. We have Bubbles and Silhouette banned by the 90s, and then Tundra and Ophelia by unZ. But yeah, the 90s, I mean, they're up 1-0, and here they are blind banning a Bubbles even. Yeah,
interesting. I've never seen that, but I'm not going to knock it. And Bubbles is a great hero, and obviously they value it because they picked it last game, and they did really well with it. Of course, he did get the great start there with the courier kill. But yeah, I don't see anything wrong with blind banning Bubbles. He's a very, very strong hero.
Yeah. And of course, Tundra and Ophelia again blind banned by unZ. Now that does leave Pebbles on the board to be perhaps first picked here by the 90s if they so choose, or at least putting in the locking pool. So we'll keep that in mind. Now, speaking of the locking pool, so far we have Polywog Priest, Gravekeeper Geomancer. So maybe we're going to start seeing a little bit more of the troll style of locks here that we've talked about, maybe coming up from unZ. And I wonder if the 90s, if they're going to respond to this with a couple of, and I say troll lightly because I don't think that's a fair word to use, because there are like Geomancer. I mean, he's actually going to be viable in competitive scene, has been used before, and I can see him working. I mean, Gravekeeper, maybe not as much. He's still a fairly newer hero, and don't know necessarily how he would fit in. I would be excited to see him play. I definitely have enjoyed playing that hero myself, but anyways, I wonder how 90s, if they're going to go with, again, more like standard, or maybe try to continue the different style of locks here now.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, Geomancer, I think, is a very, very strong hero. I've actually never even played it, but I understand the spells, and he's a very, very strong hero. They do go ahead and lock Keeper and Madman, so they're going to respond with kind of, like you said, not really trolley picks, but just kind of different ones for this lock pool. This could be interesting. I'm really curious to see as to what goes on. I expect something like, I was going to say, yeah, another good hero to be locked here by unZ as let's say 90s picks one. You don't want to lock 5 bad heroes so that 90s gets one, and you're like, crap, we get 2 bad ones now, and they get 1 good one. So, yeah, that was a pretty smart thing by unZ right there.
Yeah, so, of course, you'd think 90s maybe get Polywog Priest, and then unZ can get Glacius and whoever else they would like. But so now we're into the banning phase, but this locking pool, it's going to turn out to be pretty interesting to see how it plays out. I mean, there's obviously we're going to get either Gravekeeper, Geomancer, or Madman, or even multiple of them, depending on how both teams feel about those heroes. So, and that's going to prove to be entertaining, I'm sure. Magmus and Pebbles so far being the ban. So, yeah, I mean, Pebbles obviously wasn't blind banned, but isn't in the locking pool, so we'll not see him as he eventually gets banned after. And there's a Jereziah ban happening as well. So 3 more actual bans to go here, and then we will enter the picking phase. But I don't know, they got a Keeper up there, they got a Polywog, so a lot of push presence happening. Even Gravekeeper, actually. Gravekeeper is he could definitely be quite the pushing hero himself, especially with that ultimate, so.
Does it do damage to towers?
I believe so, unless I'm mistaken by that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know, actually, one of his passive skills, the thing that does the crit, that actually applies to towers as well.
Yeah.
And you can just keep doing it, and doing it over and over and over. That Gravekeeper is actually deceptively strong. You put him in a solo mid role. I don't know if he'd actually be viable solo mid like in a competitive game. Maybe we'll see it. But boy, if you get a Shroud up on that hero, that guy can do some damage.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a fun hero to watch with farm.
Yeah.
But
would be entertaining, but yeah, something tells me probably not. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see if either one of these teams kind of mans up and goes with such a hero. Parasite, the next ban. Then we got Moraxis, and the final ban coming up here from unZ, and it is going to be Tempest. So there you go. Now with picks on the board. Now both, in fact, all 3. No, okay, Silhouettes was blind ban. So we got Dark Lady and Mage ban this time. So we talked about last time around. So we'll see if the 90s maybe grabs one of them up or something different. No, it's going to be a Luna, and actually that's a very solid choice there.
Yeah, especially when you have a lock pool that doesn't have that many standard picks. I want to say. it's much better to get heroes in your first 3 regular picks that are much more versatile. Things like a Luna is a great hero. Torturer would be a good one. Bubbles is obviously good, but he's banned. So, yeah, no, I love that Luna pickup right there by 90s.
Yeah, that definitely makes a lot of sense. With that there, and speak to that, you still got something like Nymphora on the board. So, if our Hellborn team finds that to be a possible pickup or something else here, so we'll see what unZ decides to go with. It's going to be Fade. So you talked about him last game. We saw him banned once again, but picked up this time by unZ, and so it's Fade Witchslayer actually here by unZ. What do you make of that?
I love the Fade. I love Witchslayer. I hope that they go solo mid with him because, like I've said time and time again, we've seen it almost every time a support Witch has been in the game. It just kind of failed, and Witchslayer is so weak as a support hero, especially in the long lane. I mean, the only way he'll work is if you put him in the short lane. But, I love Witch Fade. What I thought would be really interesting right there is if they actually went Fade Dark Lady, because then you leave Mage Bane, but like, God, I don't want to pick Mage Bane into Fade.
Yeah.
So, that would have been really interesting. But Fade Witch, yeah, it all depends on where they lane Witch.
What about Fade? I mean, they had a chance to get Fade Nymphora there, actually.
That's so true.
Yeah.
That is very true.
Yeah. Pass that up to go with the Witchslayer instead. I mean, now they still could get Nymphora. Something tells me the 90s probably won't go Nymphora here.
They're doing it!
You even got a shout out from it, Ralph. Look at that. They're manning up and coming through. So Pharaoh Vindicator picked up here. This is what we talked about in the first game. So it's safe to assume they're going to get Polywog Priest first pick and then go for Keeper of the Forest, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they're definitely going to go for Polywog, no question.
Yeah.
Because it is like the core of their lineup. They can still work things without Tree. Like, they could go... Well, first of all, I don't really see unZ picking up Tree. They might do like a Tree Glacius to try to, screw 90s over. If they did that, I could see 90s picking up, like, Geo.
Yeah.
And like a tri-lane on Luna. That would be fine, that would be workable. But normally you don't want to pick Tree just to take it away from someone else because they're like, well, crap, we have this big friggin' like strength hero. What do we do with it?
Doesn't fit too well with us, but at least they don't have. We talked about that yesterday with I think it was a Wild Soul pick happening.
Yeah, Fnatic and Breezy, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, not usually the smartest idea if he doesn't fit too well into your lineup. So. But now, what about Vindic? Obviously, we got 10 seconds left on this pick, so we'll see what this is first before jumping into that. And they're using all their extra time here, so and there we go. It is going to be an Nymphora, so they sure enough do have that Nymphora Fade combination if they choose to run it. But I wanted to go back to Vindicator real quickly. What do you think of this? We actually haven't seen Vindicator too much, especially after his rework. What do you think of that rework?
When I first had it, or when I was first playing with it, playing around with the hero, I hated it. I didn't like the rework because I loved the old Vindy. I still am kind of partial to the old Vindy, just simply the passive that he had, when people cast spells it silences. Rather now it's when you attack him. And I love the old one much better. Yeah, Polywog Priest definitely picked up. Very smart by them. But the new Vindy has so much, team fight. Like, just watch. When we have these team fights going on, he has an AoE brain drain. And it over time, it does so much damage, you don't really think about it. But you'll look at the damage meters, and it'll be like Vindy all the way at the top. He does an immense amount of damage, and wow, Madman Gravekeeper.
Now it's my turn to be excited. Yay! We're going to see Gravekeeper. That's awesome from unZ right here. So, yeah, that unZ, man, I mean, they went a very interesting lineup. So they do get the Fate and 4 combination we said, but they also go with Madman, and then even Gravekeeper on top of that. So... And now I gotta think Keeper of the Forest is the final pick here. I mean, this is that lineup. So you see them.
I hope so. And actually, Nymphora is very weak against push lineups.
Yeah.
And the way I see it, no, this looks like another support Witchslayer game, unless they just decide to do a support Gravekeeper.
You know what I like about Gravekeeper real quickly? I actually, especially with that Keeper of the Forest pickup. Now his. I think it's his W, the Corpse Explosion, could actually be pretty beneficial against having extra minions. In this case, obviously, Keeper of the Forest with his Tree Dogs, if they get those killed like in a creep clear, and then all of a sudden use that on top of it. So, could actually amplify the damage from that ability. But anyways, I'm sorry. I just randomly thought about that. But yeah, how are they going to run
exciting.
Gravekeeper? I mean, how is the Hellborn team going to run their setup as a whole? I don't think there's any true answers. I mean,
I don't
we're going to have to wait and
know.
see.
I'm guessing Grave mid. I think he's best played as a mid. He's buying mid items, so it's probably mid. That's is that support Witch Slayer? Please tell me not. Oh no. Okay, so they're gonna try lane bottom. It looks like maybe it's Witch Slayer mid. Yep, that's gonna be a Witch Slayer mid. He didn't buy
For
any
bottle
extra
first,
gold,
yeah.
so he's gonna go for fast bottle, and then a tri lane with the Fade as on support Fade. Yet again, we've seen that time and time. Nymphora and then Madman all manning up. This is going to be actually good for the 90s team, so long that Pharaoh doesn't get, feed a lot. Because you want basically Pharaoh to be against the tri lane, because he's a melee hero, which means he's going to get more experience. And also you're in the tri lane, so you're going to get less experience. So this is good lane setup in favor of 90s.
Yeah, and of course, the other lanes, you could keep it the Forest, who obviously will end up in the jungle. Polywog Priest going to be middle, and then that leaves Vindicator Aluna. Very interesting lane combination, but at the same time, makes sense with the setup that they have, and they're going to go 2-1 against that Gravekeeper. What's up?
That is a strong lane, let me tell you. Aluna, Vindy. Glacius is a little bit better. I know they obviously would prefer Glacius, but they had to pick Poly out of that pool. Like, there was no question. They absolutely had to, because it just is like a staple hero for their lineup. But I am excited for this game, Ricky. Oh man.
Yeah, it's definitely cool that we got, not only you got your lineup that we were talking about from before the games even started, in the interview and everything, and we also get the Hellborn team going crazy picks. We got Gravekeeper, Madman. I mean, this is definitely gonna hopefully turn out to be a much more entertaining game than those out there. So, it is one of those cases, though, you hope for the sake of just the entertainment value that it doesn't quickly go in one team's favor and you just don't get to see certain heroes shine as a result of that. But we'll just see how it plays out. And, of course, only time will tell. But, yeah, the lane's coming about right now, of course, as you said. Pharaoh, he's at this bottom lane, just going to try to leech as much experience as possible. And even getting a creep kill there off the bat. You do see Nymphora and Fade actually roaming right away. And Polywog Priest doesn't have any vision in his jungle. Now, of course, you can safely assume that because they're missing, they could very likely be trying to set up a gank in the middle lane. And you see his positioning is maybe helping with that. But still, he has no clue that they're coming right now. And if Fade comes in with a good Burning Shadow, Zealson on top, and of course Witch there with the Graveyard, that's a triple stun that Polywog Priest will be very, very difficult to get out of. You see his positioning, though. He's just far enough. Yeah, great job by Super KGE right there. Expecting something, and it sure enough pays off right there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Fade and Nymphora did go at the right time. They went right as they timed it basically. They were like, okay, he's probably going to go for this last hit on this range creep. If he does, we're going to kill him. But Super KGE and probably a good job. We want to say that this is what you don't see in the background, but Jolem saying, you careful. I don't see them bottom. They're probably ganking you mid because they did not have a war. They can't see them. It's all guessing pretty much. And in fact, they're coming back bottom, so now he's got to be careful. He's pushed up the lane, and he's in a very susceptible spot. If he stays up here, he could be in a lot of trouble.
God, he's already level 3, though, so Pharaoh obviously taking big advantage of the fact that they've been missing, but you're right. I mean, he's completely pushed up right here. And I'm a little bit surprised they actually didn't go in right there, actually. I mean, they knew that he was there, so playing very, very patient. Now, he's going to fall all the way back to the tower. Oh, no, he's going to go back up, so here we go. This is going to be that chance to see a stock in from Mammon. In comes the Burning Shadows. There's a Zeal Sun on top. Now, do they have enough damage? He doesn't have Mummy Walls. Here's what stats it looks like. Very interesting. He's trying to get away. Oh, my God, what a juke right there by Olem. Using the health potion, and it looks like Pharaoh will end up surviving. Burning Shadows coming on. Another Zeal Sun, perhaps. Mummy Wall goes up. No, it is going to be enough for the kill. And you see the 12 minutes old the last second, but not going to matter. Wow, what an attempt from Yolan right there, but the pursuit just too much in the end.
Yeah, that was that would have been like the clutch juke of the century. But he actually didn't go south. He just didn't level it up. So he did go for the Hellfire there. Probably going to max it. Actually, I don't know. Usually when you're in a 1v3 situation with the Pharaoh, you like to max Tormented Soul. But we'll see what he does. That was a very good attempt there by Jolem, though.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, good kill, and that's going to jumpstart Fade's farm. Who is a support, but now he has boots, so it's going to make ganking a lot more easy for him as they both run back to the mid lane to maybe try to pick up a kill on Poly.
Yeah, and of course, especially in the support role, you expect Fade to go for those Striders, so very close to even picking up those as soon as possible. Look at the Graveyard Stun just missing right there, so this tower dive is going to be unsuccessful, you would think. Oh no, the Hellborn team kind of just throwing themselves into this. Fade is going to end up dying as a result, and Polywog Priest will get the kill, and he'll just laugh his way out as he walks away. Yeah, that was missing the Graveyard Stun, ultimately did it right there. Obviously, it was a complete blind Graveyard Stun, so they just assumed that it hit, but it did not. So yeah, big misclick there.
Well, Super KGE played it so well. He actually he expected the Graveyard Stun to come out where it did, and nothing wrong with Louis and casting it. I mean, cast it exactly how I think I would and most people would cast it. But Super KGE ate a tree and like dipped down just a little bit and barely missed it. That was really well played by Super KGE.
Yeah, so definitely, again, just having that great presence of mind, as I always like to say, expecting it where to come. Top lane, let's talk a little bit about this. A Gravekeeper against this Vindicator. Of course, Aluna, she's also been up here for the most part, harassing heavily. I mean, look at Gravekeeper. Revi has only 1 creep kill so far compared to Vindicator's 27 and 16. Again, with Aluna being up here, that's been struggling. But, man, Algae on Vindicator is dominating so far.
Yeah, they're having such a great lane. I mean, I haven't been really paying attention, and maybe you haven't as well because there's missing action in other lanes, but this lane composition is so strong. I mean, pretty much, honestly, anything with Luna is strong. And then you put on top of that a hero that also has an AoE nuke with Brain Drain, like Vindy has, and you steal a little bit of int, especially from an int hero, and then oh wow, I missed another kill on Pharaoh. So it actually looked like they almost got a counter kill.
Yeah,
on Fade
I was actually watching it the whole time. Fade was actually trying to hero block Pharaoh while he had the Hellfire activated, which is level 3. So it actually nearly took him out. In fact, if Pharaoh auto-attacked him one more time rather than trying to run, he very likely could have gotten the kill right there. But he was trying to run and get away, and ultimately led to his death, of course. But Fade in and for once again the roam coming through. But you were talking about Vindicator though.
Yeah, well, just any lane with Luna, it makes it so much more strong, and yeah, obviously, I mean, this Gravekeeper's having a really tough time. 1 CS by 5 minutes, 30 seconds.
Yeah, that's all right. Last time I checked, that's not good. Polywog Priest, that was interesting right there. He actually hexed Witchslayer coming in from the top side jungle. He didn't throw his Ward Trap though. I thought maybe he didn't have enough mana. Double checked, he did. So I don't know if he just didn't feel comfortable knowing that he didn't have a follow-up to that because it would have used all his mana, but still, I got to assume that would have been a kill. But nonetheless, he doesn't go for it. However, a kill may very likely... yeah, Witchslayer's in a lot of trouble right here. He pushed up for a Graveyard Stun. Here comes Aluna. Keeper of the Force, not level 6, though, so Witchslayer will be able to get away, actually, as the roots are not going to come out because he doesn't have his ultimate, of course. So, in the end, a little bit of luck there for Witchslayer, but does get away, and he'll actually go to the bottom room, which is an invisibility, and he's going to gladly pick that up. So now we talked a little bit about Vindicator. Madman at the same time at the bottom lane, he's also doing very well. 35 and 16. He's up there competing with Vindicator even.
Yeah, Madman is doing very well. Madman's one of those heroes that is kind of, you got to be really, really spot on with your item build. Because if you buy the wrong items, regardless of what item you buy, the hero is very susceptible to ganks. I mean, it's very low HP. And you're constantly asking yourself, I mean, do you want to go for the farm type of Madman but then be useless because I can't fight in team fights because I only have 800 HP?
Yeah.
Or do I go straight for that team fight type of Madman where I buy just like a Shrunken Head or maybe even a Helm of the Black Legion right away with Steam Boots and try to go team fight? Actually, initiated on the Keeper Forest, the Silver Bullet comes out from Witchslayer, but then the great Polywog Wards comes to get the Ward Trap onto Witchslayer as well. He will be alive though? Oh no. Great Nymphora heal there to give him some support, but he will fall eventually.
Yeah, Super KG actually did a good job though of having, again, realizing that he was going to almost escape right there, so he actually ran over there rather than just running away from his support and made sure to get the pressure him enough to kind of delay him and help set up the kill. So, but yeah, you were talking about Madman. Oh, top lane actually. Madman ports up here. You see the tower push happening. Gravekeeper doing what he can, and not level 6 yet though, so not able to spawn the zombie apocalypse, I believe it's even called. Yeah, and they are going to be more than fine. Just a more farm even on Vindicator now. 354 gold per minute, and the items, of course, showing for it. Ring of the Teacher and Steam Boots already finished, and another 900 plus gold saved up. But yeah, back to Madman. The thing I like to say about Madman, though, is that he is one of these carry heroes that doesn't necessarily need the most farm when it comes to damage items because of that third and gash and its berserk ability with his ultimate. So yeah, sure, ideally you would like to get damage, of course, but at the same time, he could still be very useful for the team, even with the lack of pure damage items. So again, we'll see.
And that's actually why I like to see Madmans usually go for a Shrunken Head first. Just because when you run into a team fight, especially this team composition with Pharaoh, Aluna, Vindy with Silence, and all the CC from Tree and Polywog, it's you run into a team fight if you don't have a Shrunken Head, and then you just like kind of don't do anything. Like you can't auto attack. You can maybe cast your barrel roll, and that's about it. But if you have a Shrunken Head, you can actually get some auto attacks in. A lot of people don't like going there because they feel like they can't farm fast, and that is true. That's the downside with getting Shrunken Head first. But sometimes it's a necessity, and I think this is one of those games.
Now, he does have a sustainer, or he actually got the mana tube, so he's going to have a sustainer here. Now, of course, that still could be Rune Cleaver or Nullstone. Of course, Nullstone is kind of interesting because it's one of those cases where it affects a global ultimate in that Vindicator silence. So you could argue for that sake it actually might not be that bad of a choice.
Right.
Going to Nullstone, but just like it is most of the time as well, there are those single targets such as the Aluna stun, and of course Polywog Priest, 3 of his 4 abilities can deactivate it. So it all depends on situation and when it comes to positioning and everything. So we'll see what that eventually turns into, and then kind of get an idea of if it is an Nullstone, how much of an impact it actually has because of that.
Yeah. Keep the Force is being very ballsy here in the mid lane. Maybe try to get a root or something, but not quite sure. Polywog wards are up. He also has a DD activated, so they're really wanting this tower mid. But yeah, about Madman too. I kind of lost my train of thought. I was going to mention something about that, but I totally blanked out.
Shrunken Head you were talking about, and how?
Oh no, Nullstone. No, I actually really like the Nullstone pickup because yes, things can get rid of it and disable it, but it's hard because Madman's constantly going invis, so he's going to actually dodge a lot of spells. So that means he's probably going to be blocking the important ones. If you really think about it.
And he is also a hero that uses quite a bit of mana, despite being that agility carry, so it's also very useful for that sense. Keeper the Force coming in right here. You're going to use a rune now. They did have a Revelations out, so they saw that, but oh my god, Gravekeeper just got annihilated right there. Burning Shadow's going to be used by Fade, trying to make a counter kill happen. But speaking of counter kills, Pharaohs jumps in with the Wrath of the Pharaoh. The Mummy Walls go up. The Electric Jolt going to be used by Polywog Priest. Great mana battery, though, from Fade. Barely seen it alive. Not going to be enough, though. Another Electric Jolt coming out, and down they both go. The tower will fall as well, so working out big time there for the Hellborn team. But look at the top lane. Vindicator actually in a lot of trouble. Madman chasing him down, has another stock in 1 second. Is it going to be enough? There's the stock, and he gets the kill on a Vindicator. So big kill up there at the top lane, but look at this pushing power here from the 90s. They're going to keep it going to the secondary tower, and it's already dropped to half-life. So we'll see if unZ, if they want to, if they even can here, respond to this. They're going to catch Pharaoh out, actually. Is it going to be enough for the kill? Yes, the final auto attack from Revy hits, and Gravekeeper gets credit for the kill. I don't think they're going to ultimately push this tower now, but still, they apply a lot of pressure to it.
Yeah, and that's a really unfortunate kill that for Vindicator, as he did get picked up by Madman. That's a big deal. They had great initiation on the mid. Did you see the power there, though, of keeping the first ultimate as well as the Vindy ultimate? I mean, you just sit there and then you feel helpless. I mean, there's nothing you can do. They have a lot of spam coming out from the Tormented Soul, as well as Luna nukes and Polywog nukes. It's just a great composition. But maybe sometimes when you're looking to use a global ultimate like Dark Lady ultimate or a Luna power snipe or Vindy ultimate, sometimes you get in the habit of having your hero sit in one spot. Actually, Gravekeeper does use the ultimate onto Luna. A great hook coming out from Pharaoh. He does catch 2. Sorry, he catches 1. It was a Fade, and Fade will ultimately go down. When we're auto attacking, he does go down. And who's that actually? Oh, Luna did get taken out. Keeper of the Force is trying to pursue this Gravekeeper, and he will get cut off there by Poly, and he will go down.
Yeah, good job by Super KG again going around the backside and putting the flank on. He's now 5-0-1 actually. Again, Polywog Priest, Super KGE. He played, of course, Bubbles last game, and this time Polywog Priest. He's making some big plays here for the 90s, and a big reason for their success so far in what was Game 1, and now looking pretty good here in Game 2. They're going to make a push here at the top lane now, as 4 to the 5 heroes here. The only one not here is Aluna, who's heading on over about level 1 wards. So yeah, level 1 Voodoo wards placed down by Polywog Priest. So this tower is going to fall. I don't think the Hellborn team's even going to attempt to defend it here. So this will be, what is the 3rd tower kill, actually. I thought it was even more, but still 3 tower kills in 12.5 minutes. Not too shabby here for the 90s, and I highly doubt they're going to go into the middle, of course. But meanwhile, in the middle lane, speaking of Aluna trying to come and catch up with the team, she ends up getting picked off at both Witch Slayer and Fade. So that's actually a good job by the two, realizing that the reinforcements were coming in to cut her off right there. But still, tower pushing happening here from the 90s, and it's being pretty effective so far.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, NIM4 is level 6, but I suspect that the NIM4 ultimate is not going to be that effective. They do have Nymph and Fade level 6, so they could maybe get some pickoffs, possibly on this Vindicator, even bottom right here. They are sitting around their jungle, actually, so they don't even need the Nymph port, as Nymph is in the mid lane. But it's going to be hard. If 90s plays this correctly, they're going to hopefully heal up and then just keep pushing as 5, and that really limits NIM4 and Fade's ganking potential.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, again, especially with Fade going that support style. That, you know, this combination's so powerful if you go the Fade trying to snowball, but you know, with there being some more of the support style, not necessarily taking off in terms of both items and levels for that matter, so definitely not as powerful. You see, they try to catch Keeper the Force in the jungle, but even with some dust, but he's easily able to walk away with the armor and support nearby. So an unsuccessful gank happening right there. Vindicator continuing to do his thing at the bottom lane. Now Vindicator picks up an Astrolabe. He's had that for a little bit here. And currently another 1570 gold saved up and counting. Fan of the Astrolabe pickup, and how do you expect him to build?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I see him doing one of two things. I was thinking a Shrunken Head, or not Shrunken Head, sorry. A push book at first. And actually, that's probably what he's going to go. He just bought the Neophytes book, as well as the Mystic Vestments there. So he probably will go for that push book. Great utility item overall. Just offers him a little bit more, you know, safety in team fights and whatnot.
Now, Madman just purchased... Oh, sorry.
Oh, Feral almost died there in the mid. It was very close.
Oh. Oh, wow, yeah, it was.
Silver Bullet is off cooldown, but that's been off cooldown for a long time. So, anyway.
I was going to say, though, Madman, I believe I just saw him purchase a Mighty Blade, actually, and it looks like it is being delivered to him on the courier. So, he goes Sustainer into a Mighty Blade, so this could be a case of just wanting that for life, and then eventually the Shrunken Head. But, yeah, so very likely going to be going Shrunken Head here, whether it's now or down the line. For Madman, as you stressed earlier on against this Legion team especially, that'll be a huge pickup for him. So,
yeah, I imagine something was said in Skype like, "Oh, I'm gonna go for a Rune Cleaver or a Nullstone." And they're like, "No, we need Shrunken Head. We can't. You're not gonna be able to do anything." So it's kind of like in between items, he decided that Shrunken Head is definitely a smart pickup. So I imagine he'll be rushing that as soon as he gets the gold for it.
At the same time, I mean, Sustainer is a powerful item to have. Even on its own, of course, you know, and again, for a hero like Madman, who is using a good amount of mana and just for helping his farm potential, so, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised either that it was just a case of, he would Sustainer knowing that he's going to go there first, but then Shrunken Head follow, but, now the tower at the bottom lane, again, you look at this push here from the Legion team, of course, it was a tower in the middle lane that happened for the Hellborn team, but they're going to lose a secondary tower once again right here at the bottom side, so the push is just so overwhelming from the 90s, only 16 minutes in. And they already have 5 tower kills. The only one remaining that's outer tower is this, of course, the middle one, which is actually already down to 381 life. So a simple push, even just laying down the Polywire Priest wards, and that tower could very easily fall. So no doubt a big reason for their 8,600 gold lead here for early on in the 90s.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's going to keep getting worse. And now they're grouping up to the mid lane. This is exactly what they have to do. And, you know, a team like this, they can't separate. And... it's so strong, and like I said, it limits Fade and NIM4's ganking potential because obviously you can't gank when they're all grouped up like this pushing, and especially when they're a team that thrives on the tower pushing and early team fights. So they're doing a smart thing by 90s, and it's going to pay off.
Yeah. Gravekeeper doing her best to farm. She hasn't had the biggest impact this game. Obviously had a very difficult lane at that top side, 2 versus 1 for most of it, so she's trying to recover but still only farming 140 gold per minute. So not necessarily doing the greatest, even despite being in that suicide role. But she's got her steam boots, and we'll see where Gravekeeper goes from here. Of course, so like I said, now he has that level in Corpse Explosion, so that can prove to be somewhat useful for maybe help with some creep clearing and getting some decent damage out, as well as the ultimate. But look at this push. I mean, the 90's going to keep it going right here. Pharaoh just Tormented Soul. I thought he might have even went in right there. But not going to follow it up. They're fine, just playing very patient. You see at the top lane, port actually happening. I believe that was Madman coming back to base, so he's going to look to help defend. Well, if they know if they lose some racks here, that's a pretty big deal. So 17.5 minutes in, we see the Legion team going to still continue to push. Remember, they still have all their big ultimates in the background. Oh, what is Fate doing? Getting caught back here by the Water Revelation. and she will easily die. Pharaoh counter initiates as well on an M4, and M4 is going to be picked off. There's a Vindicator ultimate. Cube of the Force rooting everyone. Witcher trying to get away. Madman's going to be able to stock away, or barrel, I should say. There goes the stock, so he should be fine at the end. Actually stocked right before Polywar Priest jumped in, so that was perfect timing. But they are going to lose these racks. So again, the 90s, just this team is just so powerful. How do you play against it? It's just so strong.
I love this strategy. It's just it's so strong, and I actually remember we used to run it ourselves when I played back with TDM, and it was successful, man. I mean, this is really strong. You really think about it, all these spells put together, it's just almost a mastermind lineup, and that's why I asked him. I was wondering why they didn't try it more. I mean, yes, you can, like he mentioned, teams can find ways to play against it, and counter pushing is the big thing. But, you know, I was thinking about what he said, and then I looked at the lineup that UNC drafted, and I was like, they can't really counter push with a lineup like this. Yeah. In fact, they have really absolutely no pushing potential. So, yeah, I don't know. I just don't think UNC's draft against this type of lineup was very good. Maybe they weren't prepared for this because 90s hasn't brought this out for a long time. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Could be. I mean, it could be. So, Madman, he is doing what he can. He's farming 341 gold per minute. It's, again, not bad at all. He's on his way to a Shrunken Head. He's going to jump Vindicator right here, actually, but I don't think much is going to come of that. In fact, you see Vindicator standing his ground and even starting to turn it around a little bit. So Madman forced to walk away and going to go back to the jungle. And, again, he needs that 1,300 gold for the recipe to finish the Shrunken Head, but even with that item, as important as it is for Madman, you know, you got to wonder if it's going to be in time. Bottom lane, Fade is going to easily be picked off here. See Polywar Priest without porting. Oh no, he ulties. Oh wow, he's still invisible. Oh my God, what a play by Pharaoh right there. He was invisible that whole time. They could not see him. Yet it was just great heads up by Yolim, guessing where he was with the Wrath of the Pharaoh, putting the Mummy Wall up in the Hellfire, and eventually ticking him down, of course. So excellent, excellent heads up play there by Pharaoh.
Yeah, that was really fun to watch. Good job there by Yolim. Yeah, I think they're going to just press the lead here. And actually, they're going for a Kongor kill. Wards are placed, as well as the Hellfire from Pharaoh is a great skill to use against Kongor. Because as you see there, it just keeps like mini-stun him. He can't hit you, can't hit you. And finally, it's gone. Now he can hit you. But I'm sure he'll use that again once it's up. Kongor, I mean, that's just make their team just even stronger. They're going to get the extra gold as well as the token. Probably go on... Well, it doesn't really matter. It can go on either Vindicator or Polywog, I guess. But yeah, this is huge.
We'll see. It's eventually picked up on Polywog Priest, so he's the one to get it. And as he kind of said, you know, going to group up here at the bottom lane. Now, of course, Polywog Priest wards are down as a result of them using them in the Kongor pit, so may not go for a full push here, but we'll see. I mean, they are gold grouped up. Maybe just going to try to catch them off guard and get a good jump. Barrier Idol just purchased by Pharaoh, by the way. So wow, yeah, he just purchased the Shaman's Headdress into the Barrier Idol recipe here. So that's going to be another huge tool for them to use. Speaking of huge item, Madman did just finish his Shrunken Head there, so he needs to port back to base sooner than later, pick that up, and then look to get involved in this team fight, because it is definitely coming here. As you can see, the Legion team making a push. So the 90s, they're going to be going in right here. You see in the front lines, Brain Drain being used by Vindicator. Going to take a Burning Shadows nuke, but not too much going to come of that. Of course, I'm sure Fade learned his lesson last time, figuring that they're going to have Revelations up, so not too good an ultimate initiation is going to do for him. So Madman has that Shrunken Head, though. Again, he's going to show it right here. So obviously they're very aware that they do, kind of just chipping away at the tower right there. Madman, he actually just activated his Berserk right there, so that's kind of a big deal. Keeper of the Force jumping in. He's getting a lockdown. Can he get the root off in time? Will he get off? There goes the Vindicator ultimate. There goes the Keeper. And down falls the Hellborn team. Gravekeeper, Witchslayer, and M4 already picked off. Madman just trying to get away. The Shrunken Head helping him right there. But Fade's going to be picked off. GG, well plays are being called. And that will make it official. The 90s are going to defeat UNZ 2-0. And actually a fairly quick series here between these two teams. So, wow, UNC, that means they're now 1-1. The 90s, unfortunately, they fall to 0-2. So, or the 90s are now 1-1. UNC falls to 0-2 is what I meant to say. So, yeah, the 90s, they look strong here in this series.
I mean, the lineup, again, I'm so happy they brought it out and people could actually see it, how strong it is. And even right there, now I almost feel bad, and like, I'm like, okay, he went for the Shrunken Head on Madman. I was saying how good of an item it was, but now I think about it, it was like, that almost was kind of useless because he went in. You have to use your Shrunken Head after spells are used in that situation, because what happened there is he used a Shrunken Head. He went in so he couldn't get hexed or anything from the Plywell Priest. Well, guess what happened? He already used a Shrunken Head, so the Global Silence still went through it, as well as the Tree Ultimate. So it's like, oh god, these Global Ultimates are screwing your Shrunken Head. So it's like a damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. If you don't go for the Shrunken Head, you're going to get CC'd. If you go for the Shrunken Head, well, there's still tons of global spells that are going to cancel it out. It's just a hard line to play against, and that's why I asked him again, why aren't you guys playing this? It's so strong. It's so strong. But, maybe they will keep trying to play it because it seems like, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah. It obviously worked very, very, very well right there. We really saw it come together. And that was really cool that we got to see that. It's so funny how going into that first game there, even with the pregame interview, talking to Phil and wondering whatever happened to that strategy, and something. I wonder if it maybe is something in the back of his mind was like, hey, we're actually planning on running that today. It's funny that he asked that, or if maybe they just did it because he even brought it up.
Ralph.
So yeah, Ralph just spoiling everything. So, but yeah, so that was definitely cool.